guys, and welcome to the Plan C podcast. I'm Colin Hamilton here with Cameron Gibson.
Yo, what's up? This is Cameron.
How are you doing today, Cameron?
I'm doing pretty well. It's been a long day.
Yeah?
But I feel like I'm ready for this.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff to put out. So right now, it is officially Friday morning. It is 1:19. We have to record now because everyone else is busy for when we regularly have to record.
1:19 a.m. by the way.
Yeah, 1:19 a.m. I'm sorry if I didn't mean that. I thought it said Friday morning. But, it's all right. Yeah.
Just for that.
So, today we are going to talk about, in my opinion, why Marvel movies are good.
And we're going to talk about the race to the bottom.
So, Cameron, would you mind just giving me two sentences on what you mean by that?
The race to the bottom is people using their identity and their status for personal gain. You know, like people are like actually trying to get more.
Who can get the lowest?
Who can get the lowest in
I got
terms
you.
of like that like social cachet
Yeah.
for whatever like group they want to identify with or whatever, that type of thing.
All right, you heard him, and now here we go.
Lit.
Beat, 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 beat. Intro.
Okay, guys. For the first topic, we're gonna do the race to the bottom, aka the Oppression Olympics, whatever you want to call it.
Ooh, that's Oppression Olympics is that sounds like a South Park episode.
Well, it will probably kind of sound like one. The Oppression Olympics is basically when people want to get cachet from their identity. So, for example, you might see that in conversations that'll be like, I don't know, you'll be on Twitter and there'll be an issue that relates to black people. I always use black people because people don't really care about us.
Why?
Because it's just like, it's like I'm black and then people hear me say it and then I can like ease into other stuff that makes people uncomfortable. So we'll go with black issues first.
Yeah,
so
let's do it.
Yeah, so it's like if someone's talking about any type of like issues like police brutality or something like that, and then someone will enter the conversation and be like, "Oh, well, I'm black and you're not, so what you say doesn't have authority in this situation."
Yikes.
Do you get that?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it happens. We know it happens. Let's not lie.
No, yeah, it's like no, and you know what? I am personally on Twitter, and I think Twitter is great as long as you don't get angry. And as long as, you don't get all that personal on Twitter. But, that's just me. I know some people who get on those fucking hashtags and just tweet at alt-righters.
Type away.
It's bad, bro.
Yeah, but it's like,
Yeah.
People are essentially trying to garner this type of like
SAT word.
support from their identity. Is that an SAT word? Garner?
I learned Garner on my like SAT vocab list, but whatever, continue.
Yeah, but it's like I'll be in school and there will be people that are almost like weaponizing whatever their identity is, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, I'm this, so this has this many problems," and it's like there's like a value in being disadvantaged. You know what I mean? And it's kind of sad because what I think is really saying is that for like whatever like unfortunate thing that's happening in your life, which there are for everybody, they kind of just like blame it on the.
They're using it as an
oppression.
excuse rather than kind of admitting what I mean, that oppression is absolutely a factor in people's lives.
Oh, for sure.
That's
not a conversation. You know what I mean? That's like that's obvious, but it's like even when some things don't affect you in every scenario, it seems like it's almost like a crutch in a way. And I think that it lowers the productivity and also like the discussion. Like it's like whenever I'm talking about something and like identity comes into play heavy, it seems to just like really mute the conversation, because when you're talking about identity, you're talking about a group identity, which means you're putting aside your individuality when you're kind of talking about it.
Would you mind giving us an example of when you have had to deal with this? You can. You don't have to use names, obviously.
I don't have to use names, but if I can, I will.
Excuse
Because
me,
it makes it
America.
more authentic, you know.
Yeah,
So,
you know what? You're right.
an example.
We are storytellers and fact tellers.
I have a good story.
Yeah,
An
please.
example would be I am part of my Black Student Union. If you don't know that, you probably won't. But if you do, it's pretty fun. Shout outs to my boy Kaya. Shout outs to Julian. All my boys at BSU. I fucks with y'all. But I didn't usually once a year all the BSUs go to Yale for a convention. And I didn't go, so I was just asking around. I was like, "Oh, how was it?" Because I was wondering if I wanted to go next year. You feel me?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, it was great."
Wait, don't you graduate this year?
I do graduate this year, but I was asking last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
It was-
Okay.
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and I was asking like, "Yo, what was happening?" They're like, "Yeah, we were giving speeches and shit, and like people were talking about like black issues and all that good stuff. I love that shit. That's why I'm part of BSU." But then they were like giving me specific examples, and one example was this this um this black lady, and she was talking about white privilege.
Okay.
And I understand white privilege. Like,
Excuse me.
it's real, but I feel like it's mischaracterized and then weaponized
Okay.
in a way that's bad for both sides.
Yeah.
And kind of the conversation that she said was like, "Oh, well, all white people have privilege, white men, white women have privilege, and even black men have privilege, and and the most disadvantaged group is black women, and we need to stand with our black women." And they're like, "Yeah, it's a positive message." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a positive message, but why is that what we're looking for?" You know what I mean?
You mean in terms of race?
Just a positive image for one sect of people.
Yeah, well, it's not. Well, the thing is, it's so broad. It's like, oh, black women are the most disadvantaged group. It's like, okay, in what circumstances?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just throw everything out and just be like, this person's the most oppressed. Clap for them. Like, what are we doing? You know?
There's also
That was a great soundbite. I like that.
Let me just play white devil's advocate.
There you
I'm
go.
really not trying to be like the white guy in the room saying this, and I'm not even sure if you guys are picking this up.
Caucasian James making a point here.
But the group that has the highest rate of college graduation is black women.
Oh,
Across the board.
yeah, it's
I don't know. I don't know the facts, so
like,
I can't say.
They have the highest rate. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
Well, I mean, in terms of like graduation from college, women totally
for sure
annihilate dudes.
Yeah. And black women are like, I don't know actually if they have the most, but out of any minority group, they graduate the most. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, which goes to your point where it's like,
what are we talking about? You know what I mean? It's like I understand that, like, it's like as soon as someone says something about it, people are like, "Oh, well, you're dismissing the oppression and the disadvantages people have of being black and a woman, which are both considered, I guess, -1 on the social cachet or whatever you want to call it, right?"
Stats.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's really what we're playing for points, right? We're playing for points.
No, we're playing for gold coins that we can retire off of.
Yeah, it's kind of just, I don't know. It's like someone's like, "Oh, I'm black and I'm poor," 2-pointer. Good ass jump shot with that one. It's like, and it makes me really wonder what the mentality of the people our age group is, because I think this is definitely like a newer thing that's been brought up mostly with like social media and like this, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Historically, it always sucks to be when you're in a place of like extreme contrast, whether it be like economically, where there's like a lot of rich people and a lot of poor people and the divide is big. There's always going to be unhappiness.
Yeah.
Because you can just see the success of people.
Well, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
But I mean, in a place where everyone's poor,
yeah,
less people are unhappy because they can't see, which is kind of sad, but they can't see the way out, and they're not seeing someone's success, so they can't latch onto that as what they should have. Do you get what I mean? Or if everyone's rich, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I got you.
But if there's that divide, then you can see it. And I think social media but I think social media has made people fabricate this idealized person that they see that they think they should live up to, and that is causing people to find some sort of dissatisfaction with their life.
So, do you think like people are victimizing themselves?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Let's not get it wrong. We're living in New York. We're living in New York, and we're not dealing with all these issues that we know happen to like black people in general, but it's not like we're all dealing with those every day. Like if we're real, you know, like when I was realized I said BSU, they went to Yale. You know what I mean? They're at Yale. They're paying money to take a trip, and to all basically all expenses paid. It's like they stay a night over there. And
all expenses paid?
Well, I mean, it's like $40. $40 for like there and back, and they have food. There's like dancing, presentations.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
meet some Yale folk.
And we're gonna go, and then we're gonna talk about how much like our life sucked. Like really,
you just take Metro North up there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
but I've also really noticed it, which is like, got it. But I also really noticed that like I really noticed that it actually also happens with white people a lot, and to me it's like super hilarious. Like black people, it makes me feel bad when I see it, because it's like we're almost like keeping ourselves back from like our potential by talking about like if we're reveling in our own.
This man said you got to open the 8 gates.
All right, okay. So when you keep looking at Colin, you're not bringing the mic with you.
Oh,
bro, you got to be on a swivel.
So like you
be on a
like,
swivel.
If you're looking at Colin, bring it over here, because I can hear a clear difference, because it sounds like you are talking right here in my ear, and now it's kind of just like I hear you off to the side so just rotate the mic with the body.
Got it.
That's it.
Real quick, I just want to record a soundbite here.
Okay.
I want to thank Michael Johnson for trading me Christian McCaffrey, because now I'm going to win my fantasy league. Continue.
So where do you want me to start off? Like back from?
I don't know. What's the last thing you remember talking about?
Oh, so like we're gonna keep all that. Everything's good?
No, I'm just gonna take that out. Yeah.
Okay. So what was I talking about?
So just like
I was talking about white people.
yeah. So just like
I'll
go
start from back
go
from the
like
white
go
people.
go like that, and then
Yeah.
No, just keep talking, man.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. So I've also noticed that white people do this sometime, and to me it's actually like really hilarious, because like with black people, to me it's almost like it's a bit saddening, because I feel like we put a lot of energy into what makes us oppressed and what brings us down, rather than like
accepting the identity.
yeah,
Okay.
accepting the identity, and like, okay, we have this group identity, let's take what's positive from our experience and use it in a way that would help us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and like I feel like when you get past identity, you can start getting into individuality, and individuality is where we have markets for stuff. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
That's where it's like things are important. Like rather than like, oh, it's like it's a good kumbaya feeling.
Everybody loves a good kumbaya.
Everyone loves a
feeling.
good kumbaya, but I feel like that's the focus
Right.
when it comes to things where like people get together and talk about their issues.
Shout out to Cameron.
But anyways, back on the topic of white people.
White people.
You know, it's also hilarious that
Talking about me.
we can talk about white people like of any race, and we can talk shit,
Oh, for
and like
sure.
nobody cares about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, y'all might not know how that feels, but it's honestly pretty fantastic.
Well, no, you just like it's a free
it's
dunk.
a free for all.
It's a free dunk.
Yeah.
Like white people dunked on every race for thousands and thousands of years. Like
I don't take potato salad slander though. I'm sorry.
No potato salad
I
slander.
fucking I eat potato salad slander like I eat potato salad. Like I don't fucking care.
I don't put. The only thing is, if you tell me that I put raisins in my shit, no, sir, I do not.
I mean,
I don't put raisins.
but I feel like if you're white,
I put
it's like
apples in my shit.
someone's just like, you look like a saltine, and then you just hop the turnstile, and you're like, well, you can't hop, catch me. It's like
Yeet.
it's like some
I'm
rules.
lighter than fucking printer paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Your rules don't apply to me.
Yeah.
When you're
I can get a loan, fucker.
Yeah.
when you're supposed to look like the Monopoly man when you're older, that's when you know it's.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
You'll be fine.
Red lining, more like white lining,
Yeah, right.
or
All right.
silver lining.
So white people.
So white people, right? So in my experience, and especially in like liberal arts schools and stuff like that, there's a lot of like people searching for things,
They're just
that will
they're fishing.
yeah, they're like fishing.
Yeah.
Fishing for that social cachet. You know? And it's like whatever it may be, whatever type of identity. This could be, if you're not cisgendered, your sexual orientation, it could be whatever, you're 10% Cherokee and you really want me to know about it. Like whatever it may be. People will latch onto that and will use that in order to like insert it in every situation where there's any issues.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah,
Sorry.
So
you're not wrong.
I think that's a thing because the victim these days, it just victimization culture is just it is right now.
It's so vibrant.
Yeah.
And I that's why I'm like, why is it so big? I thought of social media and the internet and like how we can really share our entire lives and people really only show the really nice part of their lives to the public.
Oh,
and then people are always like, well, I guess that's how I should be. And it's like, no. But I'm not. But it has to be something deeper. I feel like that's kind of shallow.
No, like you know what?
Can I share something? Do you mind turning the mic towards me?
Yeah.
I was gonna say a funny.
So, go do your funny.
I was just gonna say like you want to know why I don't post that much on Instagram because I don't have like that much shit to post about on
Same.
Instagram. Like
Sometimes
I don't.
I'd be feeling like doing that, but then I'm like, first of all, James, you're in your underwear and you're sweaty on your couch in a cold
No,
room.
it's just like
That's not a lot to post about. Like you're sweaty in a cold room, son. You're fat.
If I'm
Like-
if I'm traveling though, you best believe I'm
yeah.
I'm posting that shit on Instagram because
That's
I'm gonna
something
be
to post
like
about, though.
'cause I'm gonna be like
Yeah.
I'm at the beach, y'all are not. Tee hee.
It's not. Yeah, it's also like, when would you take family photos? When you did something like a birthday,
When I did something with family, yeah.
or like a vacation, like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Oh, I wiped my ass. I wiped my ass. It's like cool for you. It's like
Yeah.
good shit.
So victimization
So-
culture.
Yeah.
I have a take about this,
Yeah, man.
just to piggyback off, and I know I'm just a producer, but this is just something I wanted to get off. Is like, if you think about victimization culture in a way, if you like psychologically, then maybe the psychologically is not the right word, but when you become the victim, you absolve yourself of a lot of guilt
And responsibility.
and responsibility.
All responsibility.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, right.
Like if I'm like for instance, like I notice this shit a lot because I'm Irish. And a lot of Irish people will be
Celtic.
like, oh, well, when we came over here, there were literally signs, and these are all facts that they're saying. Like, we came over here as either in the early days of America as basically indentured servants, slaves, not chattel slaves like black people were. Well, not black people, Africans were. Indentured servants, still slaves, but you could buy your way out of it. So it's a little bit of a different thing. But then when you came over here, there were literally
Still fucked up.
signs. It's still real fucked up, but it's different. Just to make sure, I just want people to understand that I know the difference. And then when the next wave came over,
James
there
is
were,
PC, folks. You heard it here first.
oh, I'm definitely not. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that? No, because then someone's gonna come out and say, no, I'm not.
Now
No,
it's Italian.
but there were literally signs that said Irish need not apply. And so a lot of, like, a line that I've heard many times is like, well, we were literally, like, beaten when we came to this country. You know what I mean?
the Irish.
Like, we were, like, literally had to fight for everything. Like, we were considered, like, we weren't white when we came to this country. We weren't, you know what I mean? We were the minority.
We were booty
We
scum.
were,
Same with Italians.
same with the times. We were beaten down. And
Well, while they had Capone, we didn't have shit. So
yeah, but also the other thing is that, like, we speak English, and one of the things is that, like, I hear that kind of like victimizing thing of like, look, we were this and then we became this, where it's like, look at every other guy in Trump's cabinet, they're all Irish. Look at every, like, Mulvaney, Mulroney,
Chris Christie.
no, Chris Christie is,
Chris Christie's Italian.
I think
and
he's
Irish.
Dutch. No, I don't even think he's. Yeah, no, he's not really like 100% Italian.
He's definitely Italian and Irish.
He's one of those fucking
I'm getting a fact check.
northeastern mutts.
I'm getting a fact check. Don't disrespect my people.
I'm not disrespecting your people, man. I'm fucking all. I'm if Europe fucked. No, but my point being is that they have this argument about, oh well, we were we were beaten, and then we became something, and then therefore, you know what I mean. Black people just need to really get over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my grandfather was oppressed and and he had to go do this, but then it's like, it absolves yourself of like the fact that, hey man, like, you at a generation in, you know what I mean? You still had an Irish last name, but you spoke fucking English and you were fucking white, and that was like a big help. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's the same thing with white people. It's like, you're absolving yourself of responsibility. And
Quick side note. Talking about Chris Christie here. His mother was of Italian, it says in parentheses, Sicilian ancestry, and his father is of German, Scottish, and wait for it, Irish descent. Oh.
Yeah.
Circle gets the square.
There you go. That's
Buckets.
But on that topic,
We also had like the most notorious terrorist in the world. That's not the worst person that Ireland has produced.
The IRA is pretty fucked.
But also on that topic,
Yeah, what's that hot take?
I did want to take like a hot take on the pick you up by your bootstraps mentality that I feel like almost every race has. That's like kind of damaging to everybody. I've seen like black people pick yourself up by your bootstraps and defy your circumstances, and white people go like, well, black people just need to pick themselves up by their bootstraps, and whoever, that type of like thinking like, oh, they're just not trying, and I think that is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Because it's like, okay, really, you're gonna shove all these people, let's say all of a group of people into low income, like no education, fuck scenarios, and you're like, you just gotta try harder. If you're just like me, you can probably match my trust fund. Like, really? Is that really what we're gonna say? It's like, we're gonna really be like the whole, like, what would you call it? Like, happy go-go, fucking everyone can be someone type shit?
Happy go-go.
Like,
wow.
Like, percentage-wise, right? You have, like, let's say you have, like, a really low income, low economic fuck scenario, and in America, it just happens to be a lot of black people seem to be, it's not a lot, but it's a higher percentage of black people compared to other races, or specifically white people, because that are low income.
Right.
And then you go, well, why are they doing so badly? And they're like, oh, some people will be like, oh, maybe that's just how it is. Maybe they're just not as smart. Maybe they're just not as successful. And we know that's not fucking true.
Some 1960s ass logic.
Yeah, I know. And that's not fucking true because we have jazz music, and jazz music pretty much created everything. So it's like you have like fucking...
That is honestly a fact.
You just like run down the list. You got fucking peanut butter. What you gonna do without peanut butter?
Yeah,
George Washington Carver.
Who literally made plastic explosives out of peanuts. Do you get that? I'm sorry, the man's a fucking genius.
I mean, like, really? I mean, a black dude invented the filament. So without that, you're not turning on your fucking lights. You know what I mean?
Helicopter, yeah.
But I feel like there are a lot of talking points in whatever scenario where they go like, oh, it doesn't have to be black people. It can be these people are more violent. These people are more this. These people are more that. And they just like discard economics and go straight to identity. And I feel like that's one of the primary problems with identity politics. When you start talking about groups, you start making these generalizations. And these generalizations can be anything, and they throw out all the necessary information, and they go with basically stereotypes. And they get parroted. You can go on Fox News and you'll hear thug as a fucking keyword, and when you hear thug on Fox News, what do you think they're saying? Black person.
Oh, for
every
sure.
time.
For sure. Yo,
Every time.
Fox and Friends is violent.
You think yeah.
Oh no, yeah. They're
they're
saying something with a hard R.
Yeah, but I mean, like...
Well, Bill O'Reilly has been canceled by even Fox. Yeah. Me Too has eradicated him.
But you
with his 60 million severance?
Yeah.
But I feel like if we didn't harp
He
on
is. He's
identity
living
so
good,
much,
though.
this wouldn't even be like as big a problem.
60
I
million?
feel like identity politics definitely hurts both sides equally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like for the minorities, it's a crutch that we don't need that like leads us away from focusing on our individuality and what we can bring to the table. And for white people, it's like this clamoring need to have some sort of disadvantage to be at the social cachet
Well,
level.
also,
That's
let's be
that's
real.
white guilt at the center of it.
Oh,
Though.
totally.
No.
But
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if
yes,
it's white guilt
yes.
because white guilt assumes that they feel bad for something, but I don't think they feel bad for
No,
something.
they want to.
They want the status.
They want to not be number one, and that's
Yeah.
white guilt.
But I wouldn't say that's white guilt just for the fact that they
oh,
want.
that's totally white
It's
guilt.
No, but I think
It's
they
too
want the advantages.
patronizing.
No, but they want the advantages. It's because people they know that if they fuck up and you're white and you have all the opportunities, that's on you, and you gotta live with that shit. You know what I mean? We're in that scenario.
That's white guilt.
That-
I think it's really. I mean, I'm not sure if they've even picked this up. I feel like when you say some shit like that, it's literally like, "Yo, shut the fuck up! Like, sit down."
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? It's
Be
literally-
humble.
Not even be humble. Like, just I don't want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Like, it's really meant to silence. It's like saying like, "Oh, blue lives matter." It's that. It's just that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Blue Lives Matter is nuts.
Blue Lives
blue
Matter
lives
is a joke.
splatter.
Like,
I mean, all lives matter is a joke. Any okay, hot take. Any
Let's go.
counter movement is gonna be a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Is gonna be a joke because your stance can't be I'm against another stance.
Yeah.
Because you're not saying anything. That's
Yeah.
not a stance.
Yeah.
So next time you like, I hate when people say I'm like anti this, I'm anti that. It's like okay, so you don't believe in anything other than the talking points given to the opposing side. You know what I mean? That's you
what
don't have an
they're
opinion.
saying.
You're not making a policy towards anything. You're just a hindrance. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna oppose something, make a solution for the issue. You know? So all lives matter. If you think all lives matter is a good movement, think again because you're dumb. Because you're dumb. You're dumb.
Because
It's
but
stupid.
when we're getting into something like this, you got to remember that we're getting into politics, and that the whole point of those movements is to dilute the water.
I know.
And muddy the water.
But
it's just like someone saying like, "Well, what about Hillary Clinton's emails? What about Hillary Clinton's emails?"
Benghazi.
Meanwhile,
But-
you know what I mean? It's just diluting the water enough that someone can't see what the fuck you're talking
I know,
about.
but an important thing is on the other end, when you have all lives matter, the other opposing end is like when you have like super black supremacists or people that are like, you know, all into like, oh, all these black oppression. That's the other extreme. That's the other extreme.
OTEPs exist.
No,
man.
but I mean, they're both problems, and even the thought processes that go with that extreme people don't necessarily have. Like when you go like, oh, you know, it's because I'm this, or you know, it might be, but why think that? What use does that do for you?
Because
in
it's
that
easier.
moment? It's easy. It's easy. Why are we using this as a crutch? You know, why are we using this as an excuse to why we can't do things? And I think that's why I thought it was funny when I saw white people doing
Look
it. I'm
at
like,
it.
because
It's an excuse.
you really want that feather bed to fall on that badly?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The point of
You
me
know what?
talking about this really was to try to hash out how we can get solutions to this problem where people just need this this feather pillow of oppression to fall back on, and like whatever it may be for black or white people. But I think that we know it's harmful to both sides. You know, this is how groups like the alt-right get started when but some white people do have their problems. How do we solve this? Because we know this harms both sides, and we know that it's being weaponized in politics and identity politics to push agendas. So it's not like it's being used as something useful. An example? Well, it could be anything. It could be any issue where you'll be listening to a debate and they'll hit a keyword like my brothers, or you know, it could be any situation where it's about a specific group of people and helping a specific group of people when you know that money's not going there.
Right.
You know, it could be we're helping poor black kids in wherever, and a politician saying this, but you know the way the money's gonna get there is not the way that it's going on in your mind. You know what I mean? Politicians are not there to help you. They're there to make money. It's a job. We know this. And the problem is that when it muddies the conversation when identity gets involved, and they know that, and we're making decisions for things without really knowing the full details of what we're doing. You know what I mean?
May I tag on to what you're talking
Tag
about?
on.
Just turn the mic towards me. White people invented identity politics for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Bacon's
there's
Rebellion,
a
baby.
reason that they invented identity politics is to keep the poor blacks and the poor whites in the South from realizing, oh, fuck, we're both sharecropping. Fuck these rich people.
Bacon's Rebellion, bro. Bacon's Rebellion.
Yeah, it's
There's
like
a reason
classic.
that white people invented
We
identity
need to let go. My message is like when people get into a conversation, maybe you guys listen to this. I'm not sure if this impacts you. It probably does. But like even if it doesn't, when you go into a scenario and whether it be, you know, you might be thinking about your race, your gender, this can hit anything. You know, this is clearly shown in issues that are now where against any type of identity. Take your identity and remove it from the situation entirely. Because I feel like people bring it into situations where it doesn't belong and you don't get solutions from it. You know, when people should talk, I feel like if people put away the identity, they would be able to solve so much issues and realize what makes their input important. Because without a group identity, the individual perspective becomes the most important. And I feel like that should always be the most important, and it's what's needed in today's like political discourse. And plus, we already know like new jobs are definitely going to be on the more creative spectrum. But even if you're working a desk job, nobody likes the guy that just brings up their identity, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody likes that guy. People want to know what you think. And what your race thinks is not what they want to know. Nor is it important. And nor can you speak to it. So what's the point? Bring what you have to the table. That's my thought. You know?
Well put.
Don't let your identity, whatever it may be, define you.
Yeah, I've been really holding myself back here, because like my girlfriend's friends are just like super into their identities and super into it, where it's like it's almost like, are y'all playing Scrabble blind with like a blindfold on and just coming up with words and shit? Like what the fuck is going, like, you know what I mean? And also just saying things where it's like, and also to a degree here, I'll just take a mic so that it's like, to a degree is that like these are queer groups, and I mean, well, look, I ain't 100% straight, but I love pussy. But like they look at me and they see this outsider. What?
We just gotta post this, man.
This is nothing I wouldn't say to my own mother. So I mean,
You would say
like,
those exact words to your mother.
I have said I smoothed over the rougher edges.
I'm gonna send this. My family will probably listen to this.
Well, good for
James
them.
apologizes in advance.
I will not apologize at all, because this is real. This is really real. But like, this is also just how I talk. Like, whatever. Like,
Whatever.
the point being that like they like are so wrapped up in their own identity that even when I'm trying to be like, hey, yo, what's up? Like, how you doing? Like, they are just like totally shut off.
Oh.
Totally shut off to me. Like, they.
What do you mean
know
by
what I
shut
mean?
off?
Like, to the point where it's like, yo, dude, I was trying to be nice to you, but now like I don't fucking care, and I'm gonna go in the corner and like go do some other shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just because I don't want to.
It's
Like,
too antagonistic.
Exactly.
It's too antagonistic. And this is a really good point, because I feel like I understand, like, obviously we have a bunch of new terms now. It's cool. Like, I'm not against it.
I'm in
like,
support of that, by
yeah,
the way. It's
like,
great.
be whoever you want to be. That's obvious. We all know this, and it should be respected. However, I do feel like categorizing yourself further and further is only separating yourself from other people at like a certain aspect. You know what I mean? Like, why are we getting further? Why are we trying to like pigeonhole ourselves into, you're getting points. It's for points. Every time you go one step
Brownie
It
deeper,
also seems like a
points.
bit of a hobby.
you're getting, I'm getting 1 point here and one step deeper. I'm getting 1 point here. It's like, but in the end, it doesn't fucking matter except to you. And I'm not sure, and that's true. And it should only matter to you. Like, it defines who you are in an aspect because it's who you are, but it's not something that everyone else should even have to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, when I'm having a normal conversation, I don't just go, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black. Like,
Blickety black, and I'm black, y'all. Like,
I like that example.
I'm not going to just, like, talk to people and I'm chuck and jive. Like, that's not going to be, it's not what I'm going to do.
Then why did you greet me like that the other day? That was weird now that you're saying that.
It was ironic.
Oh,
But, like,
okay, cool.
but it's like, it's not the point. Why do you want that to be the first thing people know about you?
Yeah, and I like kind of adding to that in a way is like, I think it also freaks a lot of people out that I meet and actually have to have these conversations with about like how I categorize myself, especially Natalie's friends, where it's like, I'm like, nah, I don't really I just do what I do.
You shouldn't need
Literally,
a
like
category.
that is like, people are like, yo, so what are you into? I'm like, I do what I do.
Yeah,
That's
why
the
would you?
whole thing.
Why would you need a category? If you're an individual, you do you. You don't need, like, I understand.
It scares
the
the
group,
shit out of people.
The group is for the support. The group is for the support, but your identity cannot be in your opinion. You know what I mean? They cannot be one and the same.
Sound bites.
Your identity cannot be your opinion.
All right, here, take your mic back.
Thanks, bro. But that is gonna be my topic on the race to the bottom, the oppression Olympics, and maybe some people who have done this in the past, and they might go, oh, only women can speak about this issue. Only black people can speak about this issue. And the point of this podcast is to really take a step back and think about how that might not be useful to a conversation and how that doesn't solve anything. And if you take away that from an issue that's heated, you'll realize that there are solutions and problems that you haven't even recognized yet because people are still on the surface going, oh, my feelings or, my identity or whatever. That's the surface. You got to get a bit deeper to get to the problem, and everyone can add the solution.
Isn't it also kind of interesting though with this podcast? Like, I'm not on this podcast, but I kind of end up talking on this podcast because I can't keep my fucking pie hole shut.
That's true.
But I mean, I feel like
says with a slight resentment.
I'm complaining to HR.
But I feel like
That's fine.
because
That's
these
what
are
I've
issues
decided.
that everyone wants to talk about, but they feel like they can't. And I think it's important to realize that things like this that may feel good and may be politically correct are not always productive, and they're not useful. You know what I mean? Because the cachet you get from your identity is not going to get you a job. In some cases, when it might get you into college, but
Colin is giving the camera, shut the fuck up. You've said this 3 times already. Hands.
You're right. I'm getting ahead of myself. I think we should be heading to the next topic. All right, Colin.
Okay, so
No cutting.
No cutting. Okay. All right, Colin, take it away. What do you got?
Just be natural.
all right. So I was thinking hard about what I should talk about today. That's not a pause. Get out of here.
I didn't say pause for the record.
He absolutely did. Like this.
Snitch.
No. We just look out for each other. Let's go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Plan C. You already
There
know.
we go. Plan C. You know the vibes.
That was a dab.
All right. So I finally came to, some people say that Marvel movies are just cash grabs and that they're all very much the same. And while I'm not going to deny that they follow a somewhat similar
You got it, bro.
Jesus Christ. This is what happens when it's 2 a.m., folks. So, while they do follow similar formulas, I do believe that there are some out there that are critically and objectively very, very good. So, obviously, there have been some pretty, well, let's just say it, dog shit Marvel movies.
No, you're totally right.
No, yeah. Like Thor 2, Iron Man 3, Thor 1, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, I would say.
Was Iron Man 2 good?
Iron Man. No, Iron Man 2 was thank you for that. Iron Man 2 was also
Yeah.
not good.
I mean, it's like the first ones are usually where you get the good stuff, and then they kind of just milk it a little bit.
Well, besides Thor, they had no idea what to do with Thor.
But then Ragnarok, finesse.
We'll get to that.
Oh,
we'll
get to it?
We'll get to that.
Finesse.
Believe me. I love me some Ragnarok. I love Taika Waititi. We got to go through the bad before we get to the good, unfortunately. So, I was thinking about what kind of, the main things that make these Marvel movies that are, pretty shitty. And so I was kind of thinking that, most of the time it's going to start with the script, right? Because if you look at the actors, more times than not, even if the actors are kind of phoning it in, it's a superhero movie, so it doesn't take that much, I would say, talent to...
Well, the characters are very broad. You know what I mean? You just have to fit
Yeah,
the archetype.
Exactly. So, and editing hasn't necessarily been a problem in these early Marvel movies. So it's been a lot more of like really terrible script, not terrible world building, but not great world building. I look back at Thor and Thor 1 and 2 and just like how much of an asshole he is, and just how much of like a pompous douchebag he is.
Oh, also just like shitty villains.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Just
Marvel.
nameless. Even to comic people were like, "Oh, I kind of know that character." It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they have no personality.
There was one character. Loki was the best hero, probably up until Civil War.
Villain.
Yeah, but then Civil War didn't even have necessarily a villain. It was kind of Zemo, but then it was like, I'm making you fight each other. Haha.
I mean, it kind of like solved their problem of not being able to create a good villain.
Exactly. So
It's a crutch.
yeah, precisely.
But it was a great movie.
Oh yeah, no. And again, we'll get to Civil War. Don't worry. We'll get to the good. So I also think about kind of the visuals and how if it's not a big CGI monster, it's a shitty CGI fight like at the end of Black Panther.
Ooh, hot take.
No, that was
Is that kind of a hot take? Because people like.
No, that's not a hot
dick
take.
Black
That
Panther.
What was the CGI fight?
So the CGI fight at the end when they're fighting in the mine and it looks like a PS3 video game.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
It was
Yeah.
so bad.
No, it was very.
It was
I don't
so
know
bad.
what happened there, Ryan Kugler. If you could email me, my email is chthamington@gmail.
It was good except
was-
for the fights.
It was a solid movie.
Say that again.
I just said Ryan Kugler. If you could, get back to me on that CGI issue.
Why did you do it?
Maybe everyone was working on Doctor Strange and Infinity War and Ragnarok.
I mean,
but
you had like they're in masks. Just hire a stunt actor, teach him kung fu,
Also,
have him kick
like,
him in the head. I
so
don't
much
know.
So many other scenes in that film were like kind of jaw dropping.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's
fantastic.
like, what happened?
No, it's
the
it's
Korea scene.
there's
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a lot of very good parts to Black Panther, but overall, I think like the bad just drags it down.
I enjoy Black Panther. I just specifically don't like the fights, and I specifically think that the plot armor for Black Panther is too strong.
T'Challa's broken.
He for some reason they gave him that
High
kinetic,
tier.
kinetic
High
energy
tier.
bullshit where
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, you can hit me." Well, I'll explain. His suit, if you hit him with anything physical, absorbs the energy. He doesn't take any damage, and then he can just release it to
He
hurt.
can use
He
that
can use the energy
kinetic energy
and just,
against
like,
you.
and just bust on all his fucking enemies.
It's broken.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, he's broken.
And it's like, so for the end fight, they literally had to work around that fact, and it
Yeah.
ended up making the end fight dog shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just bad plot, bad
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah, absolutely, and it kind of wastes Michael B. Jordan as a great villain in Killmonger.
Oh, facts. He shouldn't have died.
So another reason I thought that these dog shit Marvel movies or and you know what, like, this doesn't even have to stick with the bad Marvel movies. These are also flaws in the really good Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So you just have like situations where characters are super one dimensional, or they just exist as plot devices, or they just exist with no purpose. Um, and you see, like, I don't know who's a character who was absolutely like rendered useless in the grand scheme of things.
In Marvel, characters rendered useless.
Like, honestly, the fucking Forrest Whitaker. Like, what?
Ah,
Like, what's just like what's going on there? That's
not much.
yeah,
Not much.
exactly. Anything that could have been known, he could have just gone into the dust dimension or whatever and talked to his father about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like they write themselves into holes. Like, why?
Oh,
was,
they for sure
why
write
was
themselves into-
Vision? Vision's supposed to be one of the most powerful
Yep.
Marvel. He has an Infinity Stone.
He's supposed to be broken
this
as fuck.
man got shit on multiple times.
Shout out Thanos.
Well,
Thanos, yo.
Let me say, shat on multiple
Oh,
times.
for sure.
And it was like, okay, so we basically are just removing one of the strongest characters just for plot.
Yeah.
For plot.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, it's lame.
Yeah.
It's
And-
lame.
And so
We
another
can do
another problem I have, and I guess this connects in more with writing more than anything, but that the movies they do a lot of telling rather than showing. A big kind of like a big rule in movies and movie making, I guess, is show don't tell.
Yeah.
And a lot of both character building, in movies like Captain Marvel, where they're just like, she's just like literally just talking about her past. They're not showing it. They don't show it in the beginning as like a flashback or anything. They're literally just like exposition. And I do find that, that is a big problem in Marvel movies a lot.
I think especially since they have the comic book to work off of.
Yeah.
Which is always going to be showing rather than telling because it's a comic book.
Yeah.
Which means that you're either being lazy and like literally saving your money for the light show, or you literally just can't write.
For sure.
It's like one or the other.
For sure. All right. Well, we haven't really talked about the bad that much, but I'm fine to move on to the good if if
Oh,
you're
can
down
I
with
can
it.
I have a hot take about the good?
Oh yeah, please.
For the last Marvel movie, I will say Endgame. I will say
That's not been the last Marvel movie out, actually.
you're right.
Chronologically.
You're right. Avengers, the last Avengers movie.
There you go.
Fair. Okay. So for the last Avengers movie, one of the bad
Shout out Spider-Man.
Shout out Spider-Man. But one of the bad things that I've noticed in Marvel storytelling is that in that movie they use the same plot device like 3 times. Like, oh, you have to like there's like some relationship between characters, and then one character has to like sacrifice the other character, and then they don't do it. And it's like or they do it, and it's like, well,
You said doo-doo.
But like, are we really gonna use that plot device like 4 fucking times, like in one movie?
They can. They did. And they're gonna make $2 billion. So.
But I mean, like, as a spectator, it ain't that nice. I'm like,
I feel you. I still liked Endgame. I liked all the fan service.
I thought it was okay. I mean, like, there were some characters like when I Scarlett Johansson, when she died, I was kind of like,
Spoiler alert.
Oh, spoiler alert. Well, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you're not gonna watch it, or you don't deserve to. But like,
What's
like,
up? What's up?
Nothing. Just keep.
You said hold on.
Don't hold on. Just keep talking.
Oh my
until
God!
everything's
Keep
going.
going.
all right. So we had a hold up by our boy James here.
I'm sorry.
It's his fault.
Motherfucking
I
whole
thought I
milk.
I thought I could do something and I can't.
You can't.
Cut me off mid sentence.
How rude.
Wait, hold up. Can I get a soundbite though, real quick?
What's up?
I just want to use just no, not for me. I don't want to hear.
From one of us.
Just can I get a spoiler soundbite in like a cool voice?
I got you. I'm on it. All right, but you got. I think you should keep this in the whole podcast. Spoiler alert.
Does that
You need a
work?
little louder.
What about
Not like-
I I could
That-
go.
A little more high, like a little bit more like attention. Spoiler alert makes me feel like I'm about to spoil my.
All right, here.
potential
Oh,
succeed.
god
Oh
damn.
God.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Barry Manilow over here.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
Cause you're gay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I busted wide.
Oh, thank. Oh
Oh,
my god.
wow, we really took that to the end, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Just
pretty.
how
That was pretty
Barry
intense.
Manilow takes it in the end.
Wow.
Wow.
This is pretty intense, America.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Can't
I
do
don't-
it.
I can't.
I
I can't
got
even
you.
say it.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Spoilers.
There you go.
All
Got
right.
it.
So you were talking about how Scarlett Johansson died.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson died, and I felt nothing because you knew it was gonna happen, and we'd already seen that plot device already
You didn't
acted out.
feel anything when Akira died?
No,
Stop.
stop.
That's another spoiler alert.
Yeah, like I mean,
Did she die in that movie?
What? Stop. Continue.
yeah. Anyways, but it was like, It was just lazy,
Yeah.
you know.
All right. So, it's enough criticizing these movies I love. So, huh?
Apologies, but not apologies.
Yeah, apologies, but not apologies. We are just doing our jobs here as. Do we count as reporters?
I don't think we're.
No.
reporters.
We're
I'm gonna keep it funky with you now.
we're reporters. Yeah, reporters. You like that?
What's the reference to?
Pod.
Ah.
Yeah, you like
Okay,
that?
I thought you said
pot, like
pots.
smoking weed and doing it.
No, I'm not that
That's
much
why
of
I
a
was like,
pothead.
that sucks, man. Jeez.
All right.
Alright, that's fair.
Potters. Got
So
it.
I'm gonna start by saying
More personalities.
that in every single Marvel movie, there is some sort of humor, and like relatively good humor as well.
Well, the humor I feel like has always been the best part.
Almost.
Almost.
I would say the most consistent.
Most consistent, but I feel like
Yeah.
in movies where there's good humor, the movie is usually decent.
Oh, for sure.
Like
Yeah.
first Avengers, Hulk,
Solid movie.
hilarious.
Yeah, solid movie. I don't think that movie has aged that well.
Oh, for sure not.
Yeah.
But for the time, I mean, and also, but I think Mark Ruffalo, his act in that movie would still hold up.
I met Mark Ruffalo once, so Mark, if you ever listen to this, hi, nice to meet you again. Yeah, I met Mark Ruffalo at a hospital at sleepaway camp because his son got bit by a goat and I broke my pinky and I had to go to the hospital and we were both there at the same time and I was like, and you know what? I didn't know it was him. And until the guy who like driven me to the fucking hospital was like, "Hey man, that's the guy that played the Hulk." And I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Hey man, like I'm a big fan. Can I get a selfie?" And now that selfie lives on my Instagram. Anyway, so I look at some of the best Marvel movies, and I said in no order that Winter Soldier, Civil War, the new Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, and Thor Ragnarok are probably the best Marvel movies. I mean, maybe you can throw Infinity War in there because Infinity War is, I think it's a good fucking movie. But yeah, what do you think?
I would agree with that list.
Yeah.
Did you say Into the Spider-Verse?
Well, that's not MCU.
I guess that's true.
I mean, that's Marvel, but not MCU. Because if we were talking about Into the Spider-Verse, that'd be number one, and I would have nothing bad to say about it.
Amazing movie.
Oh
my god.
Yo, they recently announced that they're making Into the Spider-Verse 2. My goodness, hold on to your pants.
Oh, the gods of animation. I mean, because you already know that's gonna take an arm and a leg to freaking animate again.
Oh my
Oh, my
god.
lord.
Yeah, so much.
Shout outs to them.
Yeah.
But the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, that was a great movie.
Way better than I thought it was gonna be halfway through the movie. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Big brain plays,
Oh.
emotional.
He was playing. Mysterio was playing 4D fucking chess, bro.
Yeah.
4D chess.
Jake Gyllenhaal, man, that he fooled the shit out of me.
And yo,
I thought he
what
was just super nice.
Do you think I knew anyone that's super nice in a Marvel
I
movie is gonna be an asshole?
yeah, I know.
But
I know.
do you think that's the best use of CG in any Marvel movie? The scene where
No. I think the CG of Thanos is by far the best thing that they have ever done.
You think?
Yeah, just because like if you look at the close details, like Thanos has fucking stubble. You can see the reflections of characters in Thanos' eyes.
Oh, I meant in terms of like a scene though. like a sequence.
I would say that the Spider-Man series has certainly shocked me the most,
Mm.
like in terms of its sort of plot twists.
Well, in my opinion, that CG moment where Mysterio was like manipulating Peter's mind,
Yeah.
like the way it.
Well, it was just you know what? It was
into
just
the film.
it was just
know-
just you know what it was? It was a setup into a smash attack.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
For people that play Smash Bros.
Yeah. That was like a setup into a Doria.
I mean, for people that don't play Smash Bros, he's basically saying it was like the movie set it up perfectly, and that was the firework.
Yeah.
And
And it was a spectacular show.
but that's the way I feel like CG should be used. It wasn't like, oh, this is cool. It was more like, I'm in this moment. This is part of the plot. They've set up for this, and they used it beautifully, immaculately.
Well, if you look at the people who use CGI the best, like your Guillermo del Toro's and such, they're using practical effects with CG kind of as an enhancer,
Exactly.
and that's when you get the best shit.
It's got to be an enhancer.
Yeah.
Enhance the plot.
Precisely. All right. So, I was also thinking about how, when you're watching these movies, you feel emotional attachment to these characters.
Oh, for sure.
Like I can rewatch Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I can rewatch Endgame. I can rewatch Thor Ragnarok. I can rewatch all these movies where there's a relatively sad end, and I don't know if I've necessarily ever cried in one of these movies, but like definitely gotten a little lump in my throat and my eyes get a little misty.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like the ones that are well written are going to have the same effects. Because I feel like for comic books, the stories are just so like universal and so strong. If they're executed well, they'll always get that like really good emotional response out of you, and it's gonna be entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
When you get that mixture, I think that's just gonna be a good movie.
Yeah.
Might not be perfect, because even the good ones clearly have flaws. But I feel like you can definitely say they're solid.
Yeah, and I feel like those movies with good writing, just with their writing, they're able to create such relatable and great and just deep characters. And they're able to provide, I guess, these moments of I'll call it humanity in these movies where I can just have watched Chris Pratt have fought who played his dad in Guardians 2?
I forget the name.
Was it Russell Crowe?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Either way, like he turned into a giant Pac-Man monster and like punched him and did all this shit. And at the end of that movie, when a blue Michael Rooker and oh god, I just dropped his name. Who plays
Chris
Peter
Pratt?
Quill? Chris Pratt, thank you. And Chris Pratt are like in space. That's a fucking moment of humanity. You know what scene I'm talking about.
I know. I almost fucking cried.
Oh my goodness.
Yo,
Yondu?
Oh,
We're not gonna
broke
say
my
anything.
heart.
We're not gonna say anything.
Broke my heart.
But that scene is beautiful.
Beautiful.
And it's insane that they're able to put this level of writing in where you are feeling the same things or close to the same things that these people in other worlds, you're just able to connect.
I think it's like there are moments in Marvel movies where the characters become people,
Oh,
and you
for sure.
really like see them. And when the moment when you see them as people is when you can really delve into the movies. Because the fantasy aspect is the part that makes it awesome. You know what I mean? That makes it cool.
It's the enhancer.
But like when the characters become people and you can really feel them and you know their motivations and they're complex, that's when it's like on point.
Quick side note, Kurt Russell did play his father. So, yeah.
There you go.
I was able to get a quick little Google search in there, so that was nice. Also, one thing, I know we touched on Black Panther earlier having pretty shitty visuals in the end. But that is only in the end. The rest of that movie looks
is
fucking great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And
And
just the imagery, the ships with the African masks.
Yeah.
Like what type of pristine
just
detail.
Wakanda in
Oh,
general.
Wakanda's lit.
Beautiful. And then, you also look at the visuals of like Doctor Strange, both
Oh.
Guardians of the Galaxy movies,
Also,
because
back to Black Panther for a moment.
Yeah,
Michael B.
please.
Jordan's character in terms of writing.
fantastic character.
Fantastic villain.
Killmonger was fucking
Killmonger
awesome.
Was amazing.
Also, Michael B. Jordan, I one time passed him when I was on a date in Soho. Fun fact.
My aunts have both met Michael B. Jordan.
That's
on
crazy.
multiple occasions
That's crazy.
because they live in L.A.
Imagine living in LA. No summers. Or not no summers. Sorry. No winters.
No winters. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do LA because like they don't have like the energy of New York. They don't have like.
Well, you
they're
also
really-
need to drive.
They're too nice.
Yeah.
You know
No.
all the clubs close at 2. Bars, everything closes at 2.
Dub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I like. Don't get me wrong. I like when you can walk in LA and you'll look at someone and they'll smile at you and you'll be like, hey, that person's having a good mood.
Well,
But-
they're probably higher, just white.
Yeah, but like, there's something of like, even though New York, there is like, the whole like, the fuck you looking at type attitude.
We definitely have each other backs.
Exactly,
Have
and I enjoy
each
the
other's
energy.
back.
I enjoy the energy. You know, it's weird when people are too nice because I'm like, because I know you're not that nice.
Yeah.
There's not gonna like, it's not like LA people are.
You don't think
literally
people are that
nicer
genuine?
than New Yorkers?
People are polite, and LA people are nice.
Mm-hmm. It's like New Yorkers are honest though. That's what I like.
Exactly.
It's the honesty.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because I feel like in New York, there's this honesty that's between people, and I know, like, unless I'm in Manhattan, where people are staring at me and it's weird, and I guess that's like subtle racism or whatever. I don't know. I lived there for 2 years and it was ass.
Is that a microaggression?
I don't know. I think it's just people being annoying. You know, don't look at me when I'm on this. Like, don't stare at me or like.
I got you.
You know, I'm in Brooklyn. We mind our own business. It's cool. People in Manhattan just look around like fucking birds. It's just irritating.
Word.
But yeah,
Speaking of birds, the Falcon. Somewhat decent Marvel hero, huh?
oh for sure.
You know, he and the Winter Soldier are getting their own TV show on Disney Plus.
Is it Striking Vipers Part 2?
Wow. All right. He went there.
Yeah,
That's
I did
fine.
go there.
That's fine. That's fine. We're okay. I like the Black Mirror reference though. That's nice. I like it.
It was a good episode.
Somebody he apparently recently broke up with his fiance, and somebody on Twitter was like, it's because you be on that damn game too much. I was like, no.
He's gonna have to live with that.
Anthony Mackie, no.
I feel like after that role, he has to be in a relationship.
I don't know. I don't think it matters.
I guess Black Mirror is not that mainstream.
Yeah, no.
It'd be funny if it was though.
Oh yeah.
If he became like a meme because of it.
Imagine people watch that shit like they watch Friends.
Ah,
Yikes.
that'd be great.
I think
Great episode though.
what's the Miley Cyrus counterpart? Miley Cyrus literally played like Emily O. Hannah?
Hannah Montana.
No. It's like Emily O or something like that.
I was thinking of
It's
like,
her counterpart.
You said counterpart. I thought
No, there's like a third counterpart now.
There's a third one.
There's a third,
Oh, is it equally irrelevant?
pretty much. It was only a pop star in Black Mirror.
Oh, did you hear her last hot take about like you don't need to be gay?
I
Did you hear about that?
did.
Oh, it was
I
so
did.
bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Well, basically, she was like, "Oh, it's a video." She's like, "Oh, not all guys are bad."
This was Instagram Live.
Yeah,
I
it's
believe.
live, right? She's like, "Not all guys are bad. You know, I think all of them are bad, but I found myself a good one, and I just want to say, you don't need to be gay." Like,
And she was saying it more so in the context of like you don't need to be gay to find a good partner,
yeah,
but like just the way it came off, and even you can't even say that.
no, you can't because it sounded like she was just it was like a choice for her,
Yeah,
and like it didn't really mean anything. to
you
her.
know what
I've
believe.
said it once this episode before. That's not for the mics.
I-
like you. Can,
Oh yeah.
That you can say that. No, not on.
I
for her,
thought
it's
you
just
were gonna be like, yo, you need to
can
cut
say
this
that
off.
between you and your
Yeah.
boyfriend girlfriend.
But you
That's
shouldn't.
not for the mics.
No,
Dog.
for sure.
You don't. That one doesn't leave the block.
You know what?
I think she didn't even know. She
I
didn't
think
even know she was
I think she
wrong.
thinks it's a choice.
She thinks.
I
know.
bet you think she thinks it's a
that
choice.
Deluded.
Yeah.
She's that deluded.
She's that
but
type of
realize
white person.
that low key goes back
Oh,
to the first topic about people
never
wanting
mind.
that social cachet. She was gay for the points,
Don't take
and
that.
we all know it. And we all know it, and she admitted it, and now people obviously there's blowback, but I think that people really fighting for points is an actual problem, and I think that's a great example of that.
Oh, way to come back around. That's pretty
We
good.
come full circle out here.
Yeah.
Do you guys write down your callbacks?
No, we actually don't. But thank you for that question. We appreciate all question. We appreciate all feedback. Isn't that right, Cameron?
All feedback.
All feedback. All right, so I think that's it involving Marvel.
Yeah, and you guys have heard my rant.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you'd call it a rant. Maybe it was a ranty conversation, I guess.
Yeah, I feel I get
Yeah.
kind of
Got a lot to
passionate.
say.
Yeah,
I
you
got a lot to
definitely have a
say.
lot to say.
I'm pretty
It's
passionate.
But you got it
very
out.
interesting to listen to.
You
thank you,
got
bro.
it out. You got it
I'm
out.
not trying to like like gas you up or nothing, but
Yeah.
There's a lot of good sound bites in that.
Oh, for sure. For
Great
sure.
sound bites.
I just feel like it's something that like people actually need to think about.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely
Everybody.
right. Victimization is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Self-victimization. People need to learn to love themselves. You know, because once you love yourself, you don't need that group identity. Love yourself. Holla. That's the message of the podcast. Love yourself.
All right.
And Thor 1 sucks.
Individuality.
And
Thor
and
1
and
sucks.
Thor 1 sucks. From Colin Hamilton.
And Cameron Gibson, aka Stoic Lotus.
Shout out to Whole Milk, our producer, James Maloney.
You heard him.
Jimmy Bats. Thank you very much to James. Thank you to Cameron. Thank you to our other producer, Crayola. She's been sitting in the room the entire time. Our lovely 7-pound cat producer. Everyone's got to have one. She's keeping everything top ship here.
Even though I'm allergic.
Even though he's allergic, we have not taken that Claritin either. Yeah, that's how committed Cameron is to
I'm
this.
here in
So
body and soul.
yeah, no, it's honestly it's honestly like a Michael Jordan flu game type thing. That's what that's what I'm thinking. All right,
Anyways, guys, live your perspective. Plan C is out.
from
See you next
Studio 66. Have a great weekend.
week.
Play us out, James.